it up the ground. Dribble handoff to Shelton. Pulls at the free throw line with a jump shot. Got it.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. The Will Shelton Show. First full episode back in a while. Man, it's such a it's episode special, not only because I'm jumping back into the space after pretty much not doing it anymore, getting to actually, find that passion for it again, not only with just doing episodes, but now having the opportunity and the pleasure to interview my first guest and have my first guest on. Man, it was an honor and a privilege to have my brother, somebody I do definitely consider a brother, LaTrell Bumphus, on. Man, we grew up together, a couple houses down from each other for the first part of our lives. And man, to say that I'm proud of this man is an understatement. I got to witness him live out his dreams. He got to touch the NFL. Unfortunately, due to injuries and things of that nature, he didn't get to actually live out his full 100%. Because, as you know, kids have dreams of winning Super Bowls and doing stuff like that. But he didn't actually get to see it all the way through just because his body did fail him. But I got to see him live his dream of going to his dream college and actually getting to touch the NFL and seeing how that works a little bit. And we will get into that in this interview. Just want to, again, and you'll hear me say it to him a few times, but again, man, thank you to LaTrell. That doesn't go unnoticed, man. He took so much time out of his schedule to sit here with me and have a conversation. A couple things about the interview. This was my first time actually experimenting with interviewing people, so please forgive me if the audio isn't there, if the quality isn't there. I promise you I'm working on it. But I really am proud of the product. I do believe the content of the interview was great. You get to hear stories from inside the locker room. You get to hear what it was like transitioning for a kid of his caliber, transitioning from high school to college to the league. You get to hear about the difference in the coaches for the University of Tennessee, Butch Jones, Jeremy Pruitt, and now Josh Heupel. You get to hear a little bit of how the NFL works, and then you just also get to learn about a great man. So I really, truly hope you guys appreciate it. I hope you guys love it. Man, I really do. I hope you enjoy it. Genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, I hope you enjoy it. It was a fun experience getting to experience this first with somebody I do consider a brother. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoy it. Peace.
All right, everybody, welcome back. The Will Shelton Show. Special episode today. Got my guy, first guest. We've been trying to get this together ever since I even came up with the idea. He was one of the first people that I even shouted across. Man, it's a brother, a great athlete, hell of a man. Much more, we'll get into it. Oh man, it's an honor and a privilege to have my boy, LaTrell Bumphus. I appreciate you, brother. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How you doing?
Man, it's all good, brother. I can't call it.
It's good to get on here finally.
Man, it's been a minute, bro. It's for a couple years now, but I finally got how I ain't want to just bring you on no BS. You feel me? I know you should have found a thing in life, so I'm trying to at least get you a little taste of something that looks something official. You feel me?
Yeah, it's good enough.
But no, man, I'm gonna hop right into it, bro. You obviously, bro, you star out of our high school, go on to UT, play 10 years there, and but now you did what, 5? You was there for 4.5 years?
It was 6.
6.
Yeah.
All right, so 6 years at UT. Obviously, COVID year and some other stuff that we'll get into, but go on to have a taste of the pros with a stop at the Giants with an invite, and obviously the Seahawks. Man, tell me, just honestly, how did it feel to actually see all 3 levels? What was it like to actually transition through all 3 levels?
I think the biggest jump was probably from high school to college, because it's so much that you don't know. And in high school, you just, whatever sport it is, you kind of just really playing. You don't really know the details, the ins and outs, and the small stuff. And when you get to the next level, whether that's college, any level of college, you got to know the details and little things. So I think it's really a lot of maturing when you from your ninth grade. I'm not ninth grade year, but 12th grade to freshman year of college and even sophomore year. It's just so much stuff that you don't know, and it's like little less room for error too. But the biggest thing I noticed from going from college to NFL, it's even less room for error. And everybody's good up there. Everybody's great actually. And if they wasn't, they wouldn't be there. So you got to find something that sets you apart, like a little edge or something. Whether that's you being a good teammate, keeping everybody up in the locker room, having good spirits, doing what you're supposed to do when nobody else looking. Because you might not think nobody's looking, but somebody's always looking. So you got to find something, especially when you get to the big league, that sets you apart because they just try to find something small to get rid of you. At the end of the day, it's a business, so you got to do what you got to do to stick around.
Right. Well, I guess with that being said, what was you said edge? You said, you got to find that edge. What was your edge or what was your why that really that gave you the opportunity that you got?
Yeah. I look back, my why, obviously, my family and stuff like that. And I still played for Ronald too, because he didn't get to finish playing. So that was kind of my why. I remember, I think it might have been like I was a junior in college or something. And, I was a senior, I think. And Coach Heupel, he had us come up there like in the front of that room. And each week we had 2 days, Tuesday and Thursday. Each day was somebody different telling their why, stuff like that. And I hadn't got called on or nothing. And we had went to our position group with D-line. And I remember Coach Garner, he was like, we always in there, we just always talk. Like the first probably 20 minutes, we just talk about life. We don't even talk about football, different stuff. He like, just to break up the vibe and stuff like that, we're going to ask each other what their why is and stuff. And I was the first person I sit in the front desk up there. And I got up there and started talking and stuff. And I kind of figured it out that day, which I kind of already knew in the back of my head. But I really knew, after I got to talking and stuff. So, and then it just so happened we did that, and then about a week later, I got called up in front of the team to talk to. So it kind of worked out. I was already prepared and stuff. So
right.
that was really my why after he passed away. It made it a lot easier because there was tough times up there, which and everybody else they just say that we winning and losing and stuff like that. But you really got to dig deep when times get hard and figure out what your why is, what's going to push you to get to where you want to go to, whether that's play ball or, just graduate or something.
Right. For those that don't know, Ronald Casey was one of our friends, somebody we both considered a brother, passed away a couple years back from leukemia. But, man, I'll tell you, that was obviously, first of all, your family. I love your family. You know how much I love your family. Obviously, we grew up right down the road from each other for a few years. And but Miss Melissa, Keefe, I love both of them, man. I love them like they're my own parents. But no, man, Teron, I don't think people understood the battle that he actually fought, bro. Like I was there when he was in Nashville. I was there every day. So every day, between like after work, before work, whatever the case was, I would go chill with him. His fiance wife would be there. One of his parents would be there, if not both, maybe an aunt. But man, seeing him like that, and I know you probably got limited time that you actually got to spend with him because you were so busy. But I know you got to actually see the worst of him. It'll change your perspective, man. And when he first got that battle, when he first started battling that, I was a junior in high school. It was his senior year, obviously. And we went to go see him. And that was before it got bad. He still looked like himself. He still was Big Ron. He was still 3, whatever. And, but yeah, man, that I think that was a why for a lot of us in our friend group.
Yeah.
But man, so yeah, man, long live Ron. That's actually, I'm sure for you as well, but that's probably one of the reasons why I still do what I do. Obviously, we both got families, but he's always there in our minds and hearts. But man, moving back a little bit. I know I'm gonna be jumping around, but we talked about high school, college, and the league. I remember you when you were the fat kid that couldn't finish that couldn't finish conditioning in middle school basketball. I remember that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you were a decent athlete then. Obviously you had to grow into your body, as all tall people do. Man, when was it? Whether it be middle school, high school, in my college, I don't know when, but when was it that you felt like you could really make something happen with this sport? I mean, you played 3 sports. You played basketball, baseball, and football.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you had a few different options. I don't know how much of an option basketball was, but
yeah, it wasn't too much. Yeah.
but no, man. So when was it that you knew, like,
yeah,
man, you might be able to actually make something happen?
Yeah. Okay. So I would start in middle school, which like you were saying, I started playing basketball, which I was coming into middle school. I was like 197. I still remember I was pretty big, and we started playing basketball. I remember we doing all this running and stuff. So I'm like, basketball probably might not be for me. And I remember each year I always wanted to quit, but I kept sticking out and playing because all my friends was playing and stuff. But at that time, baseball was up and rolling pretty good. And the way I was playing at the time, I was bigger than everybody. I was more developed at the time. And so I'm thinking, baseball probably going to be what's it. Then coming the freshman year of high school, I got to play varsity baseball. And I remember, all the guys, I'm coming in, I'm probably 13, somewhere in there. Man, all the guys I'm playing against, they probably 17, 18 or so. So it's a whole different. Yeah, it's a whole different ball. They didn't seen what I done been throwing. So I remember we was playing my first game I got to pitch. We was playing against Lexington. Ethan Small was pitching, which I think he plays for like the Brewers now or something like that. And I got a save against them, so everything was going good. I was like, it's probably going, just pick off to where I left off at, and I was middle school on behind and stuff. And the season go on, I wasn't really performing like I thought I should have been performing. And at that time, football, I was kind of picking it up, figuring it out myself, because I was actually getting the ball a little bit in my freshman year. Because in middle school, I was just kind of straight line when I played tight end. But we just ran the ball, so I wasn't really interested too much in that stuff. Then after after freshman year, baseball season ended. We started doing 7-on-7. Started figuring stuff out. Everything was going smooth. I started growing and stuff. And then I remember we was getting ready for camp, and I was like, yeah, me and Will gonna go ahead and tear it up. And then Will decided not to play ball no more. I was like,
no, what's crazy? I don't mean to cut you off. What's crazy about that, but I still think about it a lot. And I didn't think about it because I didn't come to any football games my senior year.
Yeah.
After I stopped playing, I didn't come to any until was it Lexington? You made that game winning catch against?
Yeah, it was. Uh-huh.
So yeah, I did. I think that was the first game I came to. Because I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to hear the comments. I just didn't want to be around you.
Uh-huh.
So, man, that was the first time I came and actually, you had took a leap. Because you were what, a sophomore at that time?
Yeah, I was sophomore.
Yeah, man, you had took a leap. And that was around the time the 2 tight end set, or the 2 H-back, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
it was kind of like, we came off the Patriots doing it a lot, and that's how they wanted you. The Evan Ingram and whoever else was at Ole Miss. That was kind of bold, but that was the first time I ever actually regretted it. And that was like, that's the only question. Now, football, we talk about it all the time. I don't have any regrets about not playing no more. But
yeah,
that was the one question I had. Like, man, we could have did something that year special. But but no, man. You said so you say it was around that time that you really figured it out, that you could really do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then like you said, going to the Lexington game, I remember I caught that game winning catch. And it's funny you said that about being at the game, because I remember when we was going back into the locker room, like you was one of the first few people that was back there, like as we going into the locker room, like you was shaking everybody's hands and stuff. But I remember that game right there, and I had a pretty good game that game. And then the season, it wound up going pretty good and everything. So at that time, I was like, football, finally clicking and stuff. And I was actually getting involved in the game. Playing defense, playing tight end, little receiver and stuff.
Right.
So I go into the summer, going into my 11th grade year, I go to like MTSU or something, and I get an offer from Mary State, go up there and do pretty good. And then I started training with NPA in Nashville, you know about MPA, I think, and
Yeah.
started training with them. And next thing you know, I remember who the offers was like after Mary State, but I remember getting an offer from Vanderbilt going into my 11th grade year. Once I got an offer from them, I got an offer from Kentucky, and then I just started getting offers from that point on. And then I kind of knew that's what I wanted to do, but not trying to go back. But I think what really kind of what made me think about football a little more was actually like my freshman year and then your junior year. I remember Coach Stock, what was his name? Rick Mallory came to school. He came to school.
Yeah, I remember Rick Mallory.
Him, Coach Harris, and who was the D-line coach at the time at Tennessee? Yeah.
Oh, it was. If you wouldn't ask him, I would tell you.
They all came up there, and I remember Coach Smith brought me down there to meet him and stuff like that. And I got to meet him. I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And kind of like put football back in my head for me then. So,
man, I'll tell you what. I remember them days. Like those days were the best because it was like they bring you out of class.
Yeah.
And it always seemed to be I think I was in Spanish. I was in like Spanish 2, and I hated it. So like they always came around Spanish 2 time. And I think actually, what was the one from Ole Miss? The Ole Miss coach?
Coach Harris.
Harris. Harris used to come during basketball practice for some reason. I think he wanted to see what kind of athletes we were.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget they around the time I was actually starting to consider not playing no more. But obviously I wasn't telling nobody. But they started to add this towards the end of the school year. They were asking about you, and I was like, oh yeah, I didn't know how good you was gonna be, man. Like I knew you were huge for your size. You were young. You were too young to be in high school. And I knew you were going to be good. I didn't know you were going to be what you were. But I was like, yeah, like I hyped it up. Like, yeah, you're going to be great. Like, you're going to be better than me. And which you ended up being. But it was funny because they would ask us that we would talk, have our conversation, then they would start asking about you. And then you started getting, like you said, Murray State, Kentucky, Vandy. And I was like, oh, Trail's about to, like, it all happened so fast.
Yeah, it does.
I remember because I think I was in college at that point.
Yeah, he was.
Man, it started, I was seeing it on Twitter, and it started happening so fast. And I was like, bro, he is really gonna be special for him. And I knew what offer was gonna come, and it was gonna make you commit. I think everybody knew. But at what point? And we'll kind of go back to something else later. But what point do you? Was it Tennessee that you were always waiting on, or was there ever a time that you thought about straying away from Tennessee?
Yeah. I say at the end of the day, it always was Tennessee, just because with me growing up a Tennessee fan, and I wanted to go play another sport at Tennessee, and I thought that's what I was going to do, but that didn't work out. So, and I went up there at Tennessee, everything just played out perfect. Once you think about Knoxville being like 5 hours away, you think it's far, but once you get on that road, it really ain't that far.
Right.
We was making a trip so much, I was like, yeah, I could see this feel like home, but I went to like other schools, and like Bama was one of my finalists, and Ole Miss was, stuff like that. And I don't know, I couldn't really see myself being there for, at the time I was thinking like 4 or 5 years and stuff. So I just kind of was thinking about a place where I could call home for however long I'm gonna be there, and have a good staff around me. Because at the time, Tennessee was coming off a pretty good season. Probably should have done a little bit better. They had Dobbs and everybody. And, but they still had a good year at the end of the day, and with Coach Jones and stuff. So I'm coming in, thinking, we finna pick up where they left off, even though we had like some guys left. I thought we still gonna be fine though. But shoot, we get up there. That first year we didn't win no SEC game. It was like 4 and whatever. It was a rough year that year though.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that. I remember being crazy. Like I remember being super proud that you got to live out your dream and go to Tennessee. Because like I said, everybody in the world knew your favorite team. I think I always knew that you were going to Tennessee. We would talk here and there. I would try not to press you too much, ask you where you're going, because I knew you were getting that enough. But I think everybody kind of knew. But obviously, you get to Tennessee under one coaching regime with Butch Jones.
Yeah,
and then you. How many years were you under Butch?
Just one.
Just one. So you were there. So after 1 year, did you redshirt that year?
No,
you burned it. They burned that year, didn't they?
Yeah, I played special teams. I actually never redshirted until I guess you would say would have been my 5th year of college.
Yeah, I do remember us talking about that.
Real senior or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I mean, bro, you you went to college at a hell of a time for Tennessee football and just for football in general. And I guess it's so interesting because you was under three different coaches and coaching staffs. So after Butch was
Coach Pruitt.
Tell me what his name from Alabama. Pruitt. After using Pruitt and then Heupel.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved Heupel. And I don't really care too much for Tennessee football, but obviously because you were there, I followed it and I cheered y'all on. Heupel was the first time I actually felt like I was always happy for. I was always proud of you, but I was like, man, he's really in a good spot. I wish you could have had him for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But man, talk to me about because in college, bro, you had a hell of a time. You obviously 3 coaching changes, COVID, injuries, NIL. I mean, man, you saw a lot. You saw more than a lot of people do. I'm not just talking about the time, and I know we laugh about it, but you were there a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So, 6 years is a long time to be anyone. What was it like seeing all those changes while also going through your own injury battles, and then just kind of touch on the NIL aspect that came in towards the end of your career?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would start off freshman year. Freshman year we started off going to. We've had fall camp. I had a really good fall camp, and I found myself like, which I knew my freshman year is gonna be tough to play because I had like Ethan Wolf, Eli Wolf, Jakob Johnson. They all went till they had Austin Pope in front of me. So I was really the 5th tight end, even though we play like 2 tight ends. Had a really good fall camp. We go play Georgia Tech up there in not Nashville, but Atlanta, up there at the new stadium. We going to I think double overtime or something. And it was like a really good game. Everybody has high hopes and stuff. And then in the blink of an eye, the season turned around quick. And the season was terrible. And I remember going through the year and we thinking Coach might not be here too much longer. We just thinking about
that was a conversation.
Huh?
That was Butch not being there too much longer was a conversation amongst y'all.
Yeah, because we kind of already knew. You pretty much see it on social media. Everybody's talking, hearing this, all that stuff. I remember we had a meeting one day, and Coach Jones sit us down, talked to us. I guess he was giving us that speech. He was talking about he's not gonna go nowhere. He's gonna still be here and stuff like that.
Right.
And we was hearing him, but at the end of the day, you know how the business goes. And then I remember we went to Missouri. Who was actually playing Coach Heupel. I think he was offensive coordinator. They put up 500-600 yards on the defense. And we get back home to Knoxville that night. Wake up that morning, we get a text message talking about a team meeting. So we it can't be good. Can't be good for a team meeting this late. So we got there, and then they was letting Coach Jones leave. So that was the first coaching departure there. But I remember finishing out that year, it was just kind of crazy because we didn't have no head coach. We had an interim head coach. He was just trying to make sure everything was fun because we was already in a bad shape. We knew we weren't going to no bowl game. So he was trying to make sure everything was cool. And I remember before winter break, Coach Pruitt came in there. He was talking to us and stuff, and got to meet him. And I love Coach Pruitt, though. He's a great coach. He's a genius.
Right.
We get talking, and I remember that offseason right there, it was so tough. I remember all the guys, every day we were talking about, just really for us right here. Everybody had the same thought. But, he just coming there, just setting it straight, how we're going to do things, trying to get the good vibes in there and weed out the bad. And I remember going through that thing right there, and going through that hard of an offseason kind of put me in a perspective. If I could go through that, I could go through anything. So that helped me out quite a bit. Not even just football, but schooling, outside of school, the injuries and stuff. So a lot of time I go through something hard, I'll be thinking about that because I really haven't been through nothing that hard. And it was just every day a grind. But the first year, Coach Pruitt, we didn't do too good. And the second year, I think we made a bowl game. It was pretty good. We was up and rolling. Then his third year might have been COVID. Wound up being COVID year, and we didn't do good there. And but you seeing again social media talking about let him go and stuff like that. So we get to the off season. I think it's January or February or something, and everybody's still thinking that he gonna still be here because we going into the off season. Should we see one day on social media that he wasn't gonna be there no more? So everybody it would just put us in shock. So remember all the older guys, we was talking what we're gonna do next. Because going through a whole new coaching change is tough.
Right.
And but we got blessed with Coach Hyper though, because sometimes going through a coaching change can be very hard, depending on what they want to do and come in there. So I remember Coach Hyper's first meeting. He's like, giving the rundown who he was and stuff. And I remember he said that he don't expect us to trust him right away, but he said to give him time, and prove himself. And I will say that he's done that, and I think that's what helped us move on faster, because he's always been a man of his word. And we had leadership meetings sometimes, and he'd ask us our opinion on stuff, and if we brought something to his attention, and he would try to get them questions answered or do something. Because sometimes we ask stuff it's not really realistic. But
right.
if it ain't, he'll tell us or something, and but he would try to get stuff done, and then if he couldn't, he'd come back with an answer and stuff. So I think that
it was an open door policy as far as Hypo. I mean, not saying it wasn't for the other two, but with Hypo, he brought a different kind of energy. He kind of incorporated all the leaders as well.
Yeah, and it was he brought a fun aspect to it. In let's say the spring, we always do something once a week, have a cookout or something, go play softball or something. It was just really a lot of team bonding, and I still see that they do that today. But that stuff is so small, and you wouldn't think that stuff matters, but it really does matter, because it takes your mind off football and school, which that's what you're there for. But sometimes you get caught up in the sport sometimes. But I learned something from all three coaches, so it was a blessing to be in. It was a bad situation, but it was also a blessing too, because you learn from every coach and learn stuff you went through, all the ups and downs and stuff like that.
Which that's actually says a lot about the coach and the man that Hypo is, because I mean so what year was it that Pruitt left and Hypo came in? For you junior, was it your junior year?
So that would have been my fifth year right there.
So I mean, with you're at a point to where you've already been in college a while.
Yeah.
And you don't know what's next. Is it league? Is it another year? You have no idea. I know we had a couple conversations, but so for a coaching change to happen, and then I can only imagine how huge that was for you.
Yeah.
As far as a guy coming in and setting that type of tone, making y'all feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as towards the end of your career, I want to say, what was he? Maybe the second to last year, you kind of the NIL thing, the wave it starts. You got to see the beginning of it, and we see it now where, I mean, the entire team has a Lambo or a Cybertruck or something like that. But what was that integration like? So one day y'all don't have it, the next day y'all do.
Yeah, so it was. I remember we had a meeting because when they had announced it, it was say they had announced it on Monday, it was gonna happen on Thursday or Tuesday or something. It was something that happened pretty quick, but. We had a meeting late that night because we had to hurry up and get in there and tell the rules and everything. But at the time, I mean, there wasn't really no rules. I mean, I still don't think there's no rules, but besides, you can't use the logo of the school to promote stuff. But we always excited for it, but there was a lot of unknown. What can we do? What can we not do? Because NCAA got all these rules and about everything. So you even step the wrong way, you're in trouble. So we started doing that, and we was happy we taking all these little small deals. They really ain't deals, but it'd be make 5 posts. I seen free food or something. It'd just be something. But now you look back on it. Yeah, we look back on it now, and it's shoot, we know we need a little bit more or something. Once you start figuring out your worth and stuff, and I think guys are really doing that now and taking advantage of it. Which
I love to see it. I love to see it. Yeah. Go ahead.
I think it's good though, but. Yeah, it's some stuff that could be improved and stuff like that, but they got just putting it out there on the table first was a huge step.
Right.
I mean,
just opening the door and then worrying about the rest later.
Mm-hmm. So now we got we got NCAA coming back out and stuff, so that's good. And
y'all ass.
Nah, we gonna get it right, but yeah, NIL good though.
Yeah, man, I love it. I love that guys are able to get paid. I hope they find some kind of way to regulate it. Because you just don't want to see a NFL a lighter version of NFL. You don't want to see that. But I also want to see guys get paid as much as they can. Much as I wish you would have been born a couple years later, so you could have made a little bit more. But no, man, I'm happy that guys are getting paid. But staying around the topic of Tennessee, man, you played around some guys, bro. Like you were around. I got the list right here. This is just a few of them. You were Jawan Jennings, Byron Young, Jalen Hyde, Quiz Callaway, Stop Tuttle, Hendon, Josh Palmer, man, Joe Milton. You played with Pierce, right? James Pierce.
Yeah, James. Yeah, James was actually my roommate when we was on the road and stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, he's about to be the #1 pick. Darnell Wright, first round pick. Hendon, like I said, first round pick. I'm gonna throw Trey. I mean, I believe Trey would have been a high draft pick had he not had his health issues. Obviously, you and Trey went to school an hour away from each other, if that.
Yeah.
High school, and then y'all played together. Man, you played against guys like Zach Wilson, Bryce Young. Played against this Georgia. You played against what was the QB for Georgia? Just went back to back before Beck.
I know you're talking about too, because he went to the Rams right now. Yeah,
Stetson Bennett.
Yeah.
So you played against Stetson Bennett and all those dogs Georgia had. You played against the Jordan Davis and the other kid with the Eagles. But man, you were around greatness. I mean, you would count. I mean, obviously in the SEC, you played against countless league guys.
Yeah.
How did it feel to be able to not only hold your own, but also, I mean, you had your career, bro. You had 65 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, two fumble recoveries, a forced fumble. You were a leader on a team in the SEC, and that's not for your position and the position changes you went through. That's not a small thing to say. You had a great career. You were able to be looked at as a leader on the team in the SEC, in the best conference in football, the most dominant conference in football. I mean, I don't know how. I know you're a humble kid. I don't know how much you actually look at it, but that's a big deal. You'll be able to live with that for the rest of your life. What was it like to be able to have that status around the guys that you were around?
Yeah, I think it's huge and it's very important too. But like you talking about just playing around those guys, but each day you go against practice, you see these guys, and once you see you figured out that you can go up there and compete, because you know how it is. You went to college, play basketball. Like your first couple of years, you still trying to figure stuff out, and a lot of times you probably doing more bad on the field than you doing good.
Right.
And but once you start saying something. So all you need is to see something a couple of times that's positive, and you'll get going. That give you confidence. And I think once I realized that I could play with those guys, which you always think you can, but you never know what you really can do till you get out there. But once I realized that, I wasn't really worried about much of nothing. And I started playing tight end. I didn't really get to play a whole lot playing tight end. And once I started going to D-line, it just started picking up. My play started picking up, and But going back to Trey, going against him every day, it just makes you better. Going against Darnell every day. And I remember our freshman year, Trey would start from the jump. Wouldn't play Georgia Tech. He mauling people. After the game, they automatically yeah, he gonna be first round pick. So we yeah, that boy the truth. But he had a little injury and stuff like that. But he doing this thing now in the league.
Right.
And Darnell Wright, him going against every day. I want to get some O linemen, but he's probably one of the most athletic O linemen that I've seen.
And, who was that?
Darnell Wright.
Darnell Wright, yeah, for the Bears.
And that dog, he got the size, the speed, he can run, and he kind of similar in a way to Trent Williams, and Trent Williams is really good.
Right. And that's big time.
Yeah.
Man, I know you brought up injuries with Trey.
Yeah.
For you. You had a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
And we'll obviously get more into that a little bit. But, I mean, what was – I stopped playing sports altogether because of injury. So I understand. I get it. What for you having to fight back, and we talked about it a lot, how much did that take out of you, having to knee injury, come back, I'm good, I'm playing, another knee injury? How much did that take out of you? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually?
Yeah. I say towards the end it took a little bit more, but my first injury, I feel like it probably didn't take that much because the time that it happened was during COVID. We weren't doing any good at all. So I guess it's kind of you miss and play, but we're not doing any good. So at the same time, you're not really missing a whole lot in a way.
Right.
So that didn't really take that much out of me. But this other knee surgery, it kind of took a little bit out of me because I made it to the league, but got hurt. But I couldn't play. I mean, I was still on the team, but I couldn't play and stuff like that. So going into the next season, I already knew what was at stake. Like, it's gonna be hard when you don't have no film or anything to keep advancing. Like, especially when you're in my position where you want a draft pick and stuff. So I think each day it took a lot out of your drainage because you sit around wondering like what's next. But nobody at all don't even know like what's next. Like your agent don't know what's next, nobody knows. And then so we get a coaching change. So once we got the coaching change, I kinda already knew like, I'm probably gonna be released and stuff like that. So I was already prepared for that. So that part didn't really bother me none.
That's why I did talk Seahawks, right?
Yeah. And then I already went to I went up there to, do my physical, and I passed my physical, got released like an hour later. So I was like, okay. But, I was already prepared for that, so that didn't really bother me at all.
Right.
I get back home on Tuesday, I started training, like, getting ready for the next opportunity and tear my Achilles. So I'm like, all the injuries piling up and stuff like that. You kind of come to the conclusion, you got to start thinking about what's next in life and what's on down the road because you don't want to be crippled or slow down the rest of your life. Because, football's on temporarily. You want to take advantage of it while it's there. But at the end of the day, that's not what's going to be there forever. You got a whole lot to do. Mm-hmm.
Right. So, man, obviously you recovering from your Achilles right now.
Yeah.
We've talked. I know the answer. But are you done with football? Are you out of football?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm out of there. I've kind of come to the conclusion and stuff like that. But, trying to figure out what's next and everything, just being hurt. I think if I was in a different position or, was a draft pick or something, or I had something secure, it might be different. But just being in my position, like not getting to play last year, didn't have enough film, and then missing a whole another season. So I definitely wouldn't have no film this year because I hadn't even stepped on the practice field. So at the end of the day, I just look at like how hard it would be to actually come back and stuff like that. And, who knows how therapy is going to go. You pray it goes good, but you never know. Like Achilles is a pretty serious injury. So I don't know. It's just a lot of factors that weigh into that. But I think it's just best for me to, move on from football stuff. I got most out of it that I could. And I got 2 degrees, so that was good.
Yeah. Boy, that boy got an education. It might not seem like it, but he got one. But no, man. I know it's probably hard because you've been playing football your whole life, playing sports your whole life, and now it's now you just don't have that to lean on anymore. Now you got to find different ways to fill your time. With all that being said, I know you kind of said it earlier a couple times. What is next for you?
Yeah. Trying to figure out about work, stuff like that. Trying to figure out what direction I want to go to. I got a couple opportunities, so just trying to get those 2 things figured out and everything. But I kind of thought about maybe coaching a little bit, but that ain't really what I wanted to do. So I don't think I'm a coach because I feel like when I do something, I feel like I need to be all in. I don't need to be halfway in, halfway out. Because if you halfway in, halfway out, you're probably not gonna give it your best. And I couldn't allow myself to go out there if I'm not all the way in, just kind of jack around and stuff. But so I'm trying to figure out a couple of things now, and talking with a few people. But I know I'm probably about this next month or so, just trying to get back on my feet in better shape, and then hopefully can start doing something in August.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, brother, man, I appreciate the time. Man, I know we talk, obviously we talk every day in a group message on social media, all that. I don't get a chance to tell you as often as probably I should. And I learned this from Ron before he moved on. Telling people that you're proud of them, telling people you love them, man. And I truly am proud of you, proud of the man you become, proud of the career you had. Now you're moving on. You got your dog dad. You got your fiance. Congratulations. Can't wait to be at the wedding, acting the fool. Man, but genuinely, bro, I'm proud of you. I'm excited to see what's next, where life takes you from here. Just know I'm in your corner, whatever you need. And man, I'm truly I'm proud of you. I love you, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you too. I think too that you probably helped me a little more than you think you did because like as far as as ball wise, because like getting them coaches in the building, getting them eyes on me and stuff like that. I think they kind of helped me too in the position. So You play the part too.
Hey, appreciate it, brother. We ain't got to go into that. But everybody, this is the legend, the man, the myth, the legend, your future Savannah, Tennessee mayor.
I need to.
I swear you can win. I'm telling you can win. But no, man, in all seriousness, I appreciate it. Everybody, this is LaTrell Bumphus, Will Shelton Show. We out. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Yes, sir.